Hey guys, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. So yes, you see a whole ton of ink samples here. Back in March, I got a 15% off code for my birthday from PenChalet. And then I also got a code for a free random sample birthday pack from GouletPens. So I ordered both, got them at about the same time. And I've just been waiting to make this ink sample swatch video. There's a ton here, so we might take a little time to go through this, but I wanted to take you through just what I got with both of them. So firstly, with GouletPens, this is technically my second order with them, but with each order you get who packs your order. So it was Jamelia who packed my order, and then you get your infamous Tootsie Pop. If you haven't seen their tour of their office yet, there's literally huge boxes of Tootsie Pops in their packing warehouse. And then I got their Emerald of Chicken sticker. It's a little bit of an inside joke for Emerald de Chavour of J. Herbon, so I think that's going to be a really cute sticker in my ink journal. And then I ordered 4 samples that I chose on my own, and then there was a random pack of 8 samples that I could get for my birthday, so I'll be swatching those. So that is from GouletPens. And then the second order was from PenChalet. I purchased I think this is my 3rd order from PenChalet now, and I ordered some brass sheets. I ordered a whole bunch of samples, and these are actually 4mm samples. And then I ordered this vial pen sample tray. It came flat and it had 5 pieces to it, and these pieces you basically slip into these 2 pieces on the side, and they hold your samples really easily. I don't ever plan on having this completely full with 50 samples, but it's nice to have a place to hold all of your samples. It won't hold the smaller ones from Wonder Pens, but it will hold all the ones that seem to be the standard size from the shops in the US. Alright, so let's get to sampling. Swatching. Swatching, not sampling. So these are the 9 samples that I bought from PenChalet, and they come in 4ml samples, so twice as much as you would get from GouletPens. But you can see I ordered a whole bunch of Robert Oster. Is it Robert Oster? Robert Oster. And then 4 more Pilot Iroshizuku inks. So let's get started with these first, and then I will swatch the GouletPens ones. For sampling today, I have my Hobonichi A6 notebook, which has the Tomoe River paper, and then I also have my Moonman glass dip pen. I will leave a link for that in the description below, and then I will be also using Q-tips. I kind of wish I had a different method for that, but we will see. Alright, so let's flip to my ink sample page or section in the back of the book. Now I already have a section for Robert Oster ink, so I'm going to continue doing that there, just making sure I am in frame. So the first one I have here is Robert Oster Avocado, and I have actually seen, I think it was Alicia of Adventure Denali use these, and I am really excited about this green. I absolutely love that color. The green and the shading of it is absolutely fantastic, and I don't think I have a green color like this anywhere, so I'm absolutely so happy with this sample of Robert Oster Avocado. Like, look at the little, like the yellow in that, and just the shading is absolutely fantastic. The next one I am going to sample is Robert Oster Chartreuse, and again, this was one that I saw in Adventure Denali or Alicia's channel, and I'm I don't know how I feel about this one yet, but I just was interested in sampling it to see what I thought of it. And that is definitely a bright yellow as it goes down, but when you do the shading of it, oh my goodness. So Robert Oster Chartreuse. Look at the shading, just even as I'm writing the letters out. And this is why I use both printing as well as cursive, so that I can see the difference in how the ink goes down with cursive versus just printing, and I love the shading on that. The next one I am swatching is Robert Oster Claret, and I love that they already have the colors on the lids. Being very careful not to... Putting a little sample on Tomo River paper, and look at that shading. I love the way that that looks. It looks different from Violet Clouds actually, but I love the way that that goes down. It does look like a red wine. I absolutely love that. So Robert Oster Claret. I am actually really loving the purple color of this, but then like when you add just that little bit more for shading, you see a bit like of a darker burgundy in there. Love this ink so far. The next one I am going to be doing in the, see, getting so much ink in there. The next one I'm going to be doing in the Robert Oster is the Gold Antica. Now I actually purchased Rose Gold Antica from GouletPens because they didn't have it at PenChalet, but I'm really interested to see what this one looks like compared to Chartreuse. As I put that down, it actually reminds me a little bit of Pilot Iroshizuku Inaho in terms of like the goldy brown. I'm just going to add in this here to make sure nothing leaks. So Robert Oster Gold Antica. I actually really love the shading in this, and I do love how wet it is, but I think it's almost too similar to Inaho for me. Let me find a sample of that and see how that looks compared to this. So here's the sample of Inaho compared to Robert Oster Gold Antiqua, and I can see the difference that like in some of the shading it can be a little bit darker, a little bit more brown, and this can be a little bit more gold, but they're both very interesting colors. So the last Robert Oster ink from PenChalet that I will be sampling is Khaki. Now, do I have enough room at the bottom? Yeah, I'll make it work. All right. I don't know, the shading on that one, I don't know how I feel about that one. I saw this one again on Alicia's channel, Adventure Denali, and I'm a little, I don't know, torn about it. So Robert Oster Khaki. I honestly don't know how I feel about this. I mean, it is more of a brown. Like, how would you describe that brown? I feel like it's a more muddy brown. Like, there's a bit of green in that too, so it's like a greenish brown. I don't know. Again, I feel like it would be a good fall color for sure, but I don't know if it's one that I could see myself reaching for. All right, so these 5 here down at the bottom are the ones that I have just sampled from PenChalet from Robert Oster. And just as a quick rundown, I really love Avocado and Chartreuse and Claret. I really love these 3. I find Gold Antiqua to be a bit too similar to Inaho, maybe a little bit darker in the brown, but really similar. And then Robert Oster Khaki. It's like, I don't know how to feel about this color. It's browny yellow, green, olive, kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. All right, so then let's move on to the Pilot Iroshizuku inks. So I'll flip to a new page. So the next 4 samples I have from PenChalet are from Pilot Iroshizuku. The first one being Fuyu Shogun, and these were ones that I decided I wasn't sure if I wanted to get them originally, but seeing all of the good comments on them online, I just definitely had to give it a try. So I'm putting this in my Pilot Iroshizuku section. I know I won't be able to fit all of them on here, but that's okay. And so far, I'm really liking the look of that. This like bluish gray. It does feel like a very cool toned gray. And I'm really excited to see what that looks like once it's dried. So Pilot Iroshizuku Fuyu Shogun, and I am actually really seeing the grayish blue. I feel like it's grayish blue depending on which angle that you're looking at, and I think it would end up looking grayish blue depending on the different papers that you would try this on. Really, really interesting ink. And actually, if you look at what it looks like on the sample on the Rhodia paper, it looks more blue. And I really like the color complexity of that. Absolutely beautiful. The next ink I'm going to try from Pilot Iroshizuku is Takesumi. So it's a black, and I didn't originally, I was going to say originally and initially at the same time here, but I didn't initially order Takesumi when I ordered all of my samples of Pilot Iroshizuku, because at that point I already had a black ink, so I really didn't need another one. But look at that black so far. I love the way that that goes down. It feels a little bit lubricated. I don't think it is, but it does feel a little bit lubricated, like very smooth. And already I feel like there's going to be a little bit of complexity to this black. Like, it doesn't feel like just a straight on black. It feels like there's more colors that are going to come out of that. So Pilot Iroshizuku Takesumi, and I apologize if I'm saying this incorrectly. But on the glass pen, it feels like it comes off the glass pen very, like it puts down a lot of ink, and I don't know if that's the ink itself or the glass dip pen. But I can see that even as it's drying, you can look on the swatch sample, you can see a little bit of that red sheen coming off. So it's not just a straight black there. I like that it has a bit of complexity. The third one I will be sampling from Pilot Iroshizuku is, let me tighten that so I don't, this is Tsukushi. And this is it's a brown. I was going to say another brown, but this is the only brown that I have tried or am trying from Pilot Iroshizuku. Oh my gosh, and I love the look of that so far. Like when it went down, it's kind of got this like reddish brown, and then with the shading, oh my goodness, I love this. So Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukushi, and on the glass pen, it looks like it's actually coming down very, very wet, and it also looks almost black, but that's because of the amount of ink that's on here. But I think on a finer pen, it would come out lighter brown, and I actually really, really like that. So let's close the lid on Tsukushi. I actually really like that brown, and now that it's dried a little bit more, you can see the green sheen on there. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but you can see a bit of that green sheen, and now you can actually see a little bit of that, it looks like red or goldish sheen on the Takesumi. Gorgeous. So I'm going to flip to the next page to do the last Pilot Iroshizuku sample. So I went that whole time recording, swatching Yamabudo, and it was off screen. So I'm just going to just say that I love the way that that went down. Absolutely gorgeous color. And then you've got like the green sheen around the parts that have pooled here. And I love the way that it looks printed versus the cursive. Just a gorgeous ink. Thank you to whoever recommended this. I am a big, big fan, and I will definitely be using this in my currently inked for the month of May. So just taking a quick look of the three Pilot Iroshizuku inks I swatched. Fuyu Shogun, I love like the cool toned gray of that one, and the shading is fantastic. The Takesumi, I wasn't sure what I was expecting out of a black ink, but I loved the sheening on that, and it's very subtle. The sheening, you can't really see it too much in the actual print or the cursive, but the big swatch you can definitely see it. And then with Tsukushi, I love the green goldish sheen and the pools of the ink here. Oh, these are more inks that I really shouldn't purchase bottles of, but they are beautiful. And then Yamabudo. Oh my gosh, that might be my favorite, and I'm definitely using that next month. Gorgeous, gorgeous samples from PenChalet. So let's move on to the ones from GouletPens. So here is my order from GouletPens. The first four here are the ones that I ordered myself. So I ordered Pilot Iroshizuku Kurisame, Sailor, one of the new Sailor Yurameku inks. This is Yurameku Yoi. I wanted to get so many others, but they were sold out so quickly. And then I got Arbonne Poussière de Lune, which I know my friend Adrian is a big fan of, and I've had people recommend that, so I'm excited to try that one. And then I have Robert Oster Rose Gold Antiqua. And then these 8 are the ones that came in the random sample pack. So really, I've tried to watch other YouTube videos where they had the random sample pack, and some of these are ones that I've seen and others completely random. So first is Diamine Purple Dream. I've never tried that before, so that will be interesting. Then I have Diamine Tyrian Purple. This one is Diamine Blue Velvet, Diamine Writer's Blood, which I'm really excited about, Pilot Iroshizuku Kujuku, which is actually in one of my inked pens right now, so I don't know if I'll swatch it. I may end up giving that to somebody here. And then I have Robert Oster Bondi Blue and Noodler's Polar Purple. So the way I'll be swatching these, because the first swatches that I did with PenChalet were in my Hobonichi A6, but off camera I was actually also swatching in my Midori A6. So for this portion of the video, I'll be showing you the portion that I will be swatching in my Midori A6, while I'll still be doing this off camera, and then I'll show you both at the end. So the first one I'm going to swatch is Pilot Iroshizuku Kurisame, and again, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I did want to try this alongside all of the other Pilot inks that I am sampling. And just my first impression from that, it's a lighter gray than, gosh, what was it? Than Takesume. So Kurisame and Takesume both are gray, but this one feels lighter. Not necessarily, I mean, it's cooler. I don't know my grays, but look at the shading on that. So Pilot Iroshizuku Kurisame, and it is a lighter gray than, what's the other one? Takesume. I really like that gray though. I think though I prefer out of the two grays Takesume. The next one on that list is Sailor Yurameku Yoi, and again this is another gray, but this line of Sailor inks, the Yurameku line, it's not the, is it the chromo shading? They've got a lot of different shading properties, and I love shading inks right now. Oh my goodness. Just even as that goes on the paper, I know I have a lot on the Q-tip here, but look at the grays, and look at the purples and the pinks and the greens. It's gorgeous. So Sailor Yurameku Yoi. Oh my goodness. Just the complexities that you can see in the swatch, but also when you write with it. I'm a big fan of this already, and it seems very similar to, I feel like, Sailor Ink Studio 123, a little bit darker though, a little bit more gray than that, but it is a gorgeous ink. I love the shading in all of the Sailor inks. So here's a closer look up at Sailor Yurameku Yoi. I actually put blotting paper on this to dry it faster, and then it came out in this really, really light purple. So it's like this grayish purple with green. It's amazing. The next one I'm going to do from the GouletPens order is Arbonne Poussière de Lune, and again I'm excited for this one because of the recommendations from so many different people. I don't know, I expected it to be a little lighter than that, but again, this is the Midori paper, so maybe it'll look different on the Tomoe River paper, but so far I actually kind of like that. That's definitely an interesting color. It's definitely a beautiful purple. I don't know if I'm a big fan of purples, but this is one that I think I would definitely like to try and finish the whole sample. still got quite a few more ink samples to do, but I just wanted to show you the state of my fingers. The last sample we are going to do, well, not the last sample of the video, but the last sample of the ones that I purchased myself, is Robert Oster Rose Gold Antica. And I have to just remember to shake this up because there is shimmer in here. Not seeing any shimmer when I first put it down, but then when it dries a little bit, or I put this second thing on, you can see the shimmer. I'm starting to see it. It's like a coppery shimmer. It's gorgeous. So Robert Oster Rose Gold Antica, and as I'm writing this, I'm realizing I put my fingers directly over where the ink is on the pen. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. As a swab, I think it's a really, really cute, the swab is beautiful. But I think writing with it, it could possibly be a little bit too light. Maybe it's just the glass pen, I don't know. But showing you what it looks like on the Rhodia paper, it's more pink on the Rhodia paper than it is on the Midori paper. And the Rhodia paper is actually very similar to the Tomoe River paper in terms of the color, but it is really pretty. I don't know if it would be too light for a fine or an extra fine nib, but it is a really, really pretty color, and that's that shimmer in there. Goodness gracious. All right, so those are the 4 inks that I chose. Now let's move on to the sample pack that GouletPens chose for me. Okay, so I got 8 samples as part of the random sample pack. However, I already do have Kujiku, so I will not be swatching that. I will just show you quickly what that looks like, and I will actually include a link in the corner here to show you my currently inked for April, because I do have this currently inked in my Pilot Vanishing Point. So the first 4 I'm going to go through are the Diamine inks. I have Diamine Blue Velvet here, and let's see how that goes. That is quite a deep blue. I feel like it's almost the quintessential Brian Goulet blue. Just trying to see if there's a little bit of shading there. So Diamine Blue Velvet. I feel like it's a slightly darker version of Konpeki. I'm comparing everything to Pilot Iroshizuku inks. It's got a bit of a red sheen to it as well around the edges. So it's definitely something to think about. Not necessarily something I would have chosen, but nice to get a sample of something outside my comfort zone. All right, so I've also put a little sample coloring on the top lid there. Next in the Diamine list is Diamine Purple Dream. I feel like this random sample pack was very Diamine heavy, and I feel like it's really, really similar to Poussière de Lune, since I just swatched that. Like a slightly darker Poussière de Lune from Herbon. So Diamine Purple Dream, and I think if I had it in finer nibs it would look more black, but I actually do think it's a very pretty purple. Probably not my usual style of ink, but it's always nice to try something new. Alright, so now that Diamine Purple Dream is done, the next one in the list is Diamine Tyrian Purple. Okay. I think maybe they were thinking she doesn't have enough purple or hasn't tried enough purple. She needs to try purple. I don't know what this reminds me of. This reminds me of something that I've already tried, and I can't remember what. But I kind of like this dusty purple. And it looks more like it's like a wine color. I really like this purple. I think it's got really good shading, and I feel like it's more of a wine color. I prefer this type of purple versus the Purple Dream, although the Purple Dream is pretty. I really like this kind of burgundy purple. I really enjoy that Diamine Tyrian purple. Don't know why, but I really like that color. And then the last of Diamine is Diamine Writer's Blood. I'm actually really excited for this one. Wow, look at that deep, dark red. And even the shading in it is just fantastic. So that's Diamine Writer's Blood. Sorry if you heard Lucy. But it's such an interesting ink. It kind of reminds me of Diamine Syrah or Sailor Manyo Kuzu. I really like those shades. Just want to show you what those 4 inks look like on Tomoe River paper. Look at the blue velvet. It's got that lovely red sheen, very similar to Konpeki, but definitely a darker blue. Purple Dream is a lovely purple, but I don't think it's necessarily something I would reach for. Now Tyrian purple, I don't know what it is, but I really like that dusty purple. And then Writer's Blood, I don't know if you can see there, but there's got a little bit of green sheen, very similar to Sailor Manyo Kuzu, but when you actually write with it, it looks like it's slightly lighter. Really like them. I'm gonna try and see, maybe I can use, I don't know, I'm trying to pick which ones I'm gonna use for my Currently ink next month. So those are the 4 Diamine inks included in the random sample pack. Let's move on to this one here, Colorverse Hayabusa Glistening. I've never heard of this, and I feel like, yes, I need to shake it a bit because there are shimmering particles in here. Ooh, interesting color already. Look at that shimmer. Oh my goodness. I'm very surprised actually at this ink. Look at that shimmer. So that's Colorverse Hayabusa Glistening. Wow. My only experience with Colorverse is the Alpha PSC and CMA, but oh my goodness. This shimmer is fantastic. I don't know if it's gold, if it's bronze or copper, but it's a beautiful, beautiful purple with this gorgeous shimmer. I don't know if it's necessarily for me, but I do appreciate a good shimmer ink. And I just dropped my glass dip pen on the floor. Hopefully it is okay. All right, and then we have Robert Oster Bondi Blue. And look at that already. Look at how bright blue that is just in the vial. That is definitely a bright, bright blue. Love that. And I don't know if it's like, correct me if I'm wrong with the teal and the turquoise, but it's leaning that way versus like, or maybe a cyan. Ooh, cyan. So Robert Oster Bondi Blue. Very interesting. I love how bright it is. I don't know what it reminds me of, but I'm starting to see a little bit of sheen pooling in the corners or on the edges there. And it's like a really nice red sheen. I'm not normally for sheening inks, but when it's just on the edges like that, I don't mind it. And the last sample that we have is Noodler's Polar Purple. Seems to be a very heavy red purple sample. It looks a little bit like Sydney Lavender from Robert Oster, but it's doing some weird thing on this paper where it looks like it's reacting to the paper and kind of coming apart, but there is good shading there. So Noodler's Polar Purple. It is a pretty shade of purple, but I'm not a fan of the way it's reacting to the paper. And I mean, on the glass dip pen, it feels like it puts out a ton of ink from the glass dip pen, and I don't know if that's the ink necessarily or the pen, but I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. So those are the samples I received from GouletPens. So the ones on the left hand side are from the random samples for my birthday, not sampling Pilot Iroshizuku Kujiku, because I've already sampled that. And then on this side are the inks that I have chosen. Now, I feel like I really should still sample this though and put this on a different thing. I'll probably do that separately. But this sample pack was very blue, purple, red heavy. My favorites out of the random sample pack, I think, are either Writer's Blood, which is gorgeous, Tyrian Purple, or even that Bondi Blue. Those might be my top 3. Out of the ones from this side, Kurosame was not actually what I expected it to be. Yurameko Yoi looks more green and gray. Like the more that it dried, the more complex it got. Poussière de Lune, again, is very pretty. And then Rose Gold Antiqua, another very pretty one. Not thinking that I'm going to need any full bottles of these, but we'll see. Alright, so here are all the samples on my Rhodia paper swatches that I have today. So those are all the Pilot Iroshizuku, Sailor Yurameko Yoi. There's quite a few of these, and they're actually so beautiful. I love seeing them all swatched out like that. And then you have the ones that I have from GouletPens. They're not all gonna fit on the screen. And then I have 2 here. But that is it for me. Thank you for sticking around for this long swatch video. I do have fun doing them. I really have fun doing them, and I hope that you guys appreciate these too. I hope that you were able to find one that maybe stuck out for you. Let me know of any other inks that you would recommend for me to try. Alright, thanks again so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you again, and have a great day.